As a man, our confidence is deeply intertwined with the value we perceive in ourselves. If you don't think you're valuable, the direct result is low self-esteem and no confidence. From there, low self-esteem can then lead to a cascade of negativity, from unhappiness to depression and stagnation. It's a tough cycle to break out of once it gets started, and it can be awful to live with these problems. So I wanted to put together a video of 3 things that any man can start working on today to undoubtedly improve his life. And these are some of the things that have changed my life the most personally. So let's get into it. Number 1, become more dangerous. Once you learn how to defend yourself and you understand that you have the ability to inflict serious bodily harm on another person if you have to, your confidence increases and your anxiety levels go down. And let me be clear, you should avoid fights at all costs. The legal ramifications and the potential threat to your life is never worth it. Do everything you can to avoid getting into physical confrontations. But when you spend time learning how to fight and, more importantly, participating in live sparring with another trained person, your confidence levels rise drastically due to the ability to physically defend and protect yourself and those around you. There's really nothing worse in this world than feeling weak, whether that be in mind, body, or spirit, which is why it's critical for you as a man to do everything you can to consistently build those areas up. Learning how to fight and practicing those skills against a resisting opponent has the added benefit of hitting all of those areas. Few things will test your mind like doing jiu-jitsu or boxing week after week, getting your ass kicked, and then wondering if you're actually getting worse rather than better, but continuing to show up anyway. Few things will test your spirit like showing up for sparring and getting crushed by 4 people in a row, but still fighting your heart out and never giving up. And few things will test your physical conditioning like battling another person that is actively trying to hurt you. I've been lifting for years, and lifting weights is another thing that should be a staple in your routine, but there's certain attributes that fight sports develop that can't be developed from working out in a regular gym. Another important aspect is that signing up at a quality school to learn a martial art can help develop and maintain your masculinity. There really isn't a lot of environments that you can put yourself in as a man in modern society where you can consistently socialize with other guys, make friends, and be around guys that are actively trying to improve themselves and not just rotting away every day. But boxing, jiu-jitsu, and Muay Thai gyms are places where you can do that. And wrestling's also great if you have it available in your area, but for most of us, there isn't really any access to consistent wrestling after college. And there's a lot of guys trying to learn how to be more masculine these days because modern society suppresses and punishes those traits a lot of the time. And if you grew up without a strong male figure in your life, it can leave you desiring and wanting more when it comes to trying to figure out how to live as a man. It leaves you wanting to learn how to develop those traits that should have been instilled in you by examples of other masculine men growing up. And I'm not saying that every guy that trains a fight sport is going to be a quality guy worth learning from. Everyone is a human after all, and there's good and bad guys out there. But in general, it will expose you to far more potential male friends and guys that you can learn from that you wouldn't have met otherwise. Being around a core group of guys training day in and day out to get stronger and better is like having your own tribe. And one of the most unexpected powerful effects that I've noticed myself is that you'll just tend to complain about things less. When you have guys besides you that are not only grinding hard in the gym, but in life, you tend to shut up about your own problems and just put your head down and get to work too. And that's a masculine trait that a lot of modern men are missing. Go through the comments on social media or YouTube under any self-improvement content, and I guarantee you'll see tons of complaints and excuses. And that's because the guys that are actually putting in the work to better themselves are usually quiet because they're busy working instead of complaining. And that's one of the most masculine traits that you can have. And the idea isn't to never express your thoughts or your struggles, but to instead put things into perspective and understand that sometimes the only answer is to work hard for a long period of time. But if you do need another man and a friend to talk to, learning a fight sport is great for that as well. The camaraderie you gain with other men that you sweat and bleed with is really second to none. And it's difficult to find that kind of bond these days with how distant everyone is due to technology and people being glued to their screens all the time. Some of my best and closest friends have come from training jiu-jitsu, and those are guys I can talk about anything with if I had to. So in summary, tap into that primal side and learn to fight. It'll forge your mind, your body, and your spirit into a new version of yourself that you didn't even know existed. Like Tyler Durden said in Fight Club, how much can you really know about yourself if you've never been in a fight? And it's one of the few opportunities we have in modern times to join a brotherhood of like-minded men that will have your back, and it will help develop masculine traits that are critical to being a strong man. There's just something special that happens inside of you when you know you can handle yourself in a fight. right. You tap into that primal side of yourself and you move differently and you become a calmer, more confident man overall. Number 2, generate more income. Now, I firmly believe that money buys happiness, and anyone who tells you otherwise has never been broke enough to understand the stress and pain that comes with not having any. Now, of course, there's limitations to that, and I'm not saying that you need $100 million to be happy, but when you can't take care of yourself, or you can't even take a break from work for a week and go on a vacation, it can plague you with stress, and money becomes the only thing that you think about. Money is essentially the key to freedom in the modern world. It buys you the plane ticket, it buys you the time to be able to use that plane ticket, it buys you better health care, it buys you the gym membership, the haircuts, the skincare routine, and the clothes to look your best. It buys you the drinks to go on the date with the girl. It buys you the ability to give to others and help them out financially and feel that uplifting feeling of being the one that is able to do the donating rather than the begging. And money is just highly empowering as a man, and it shouldn't be worshipped, but it shouldn't be downplayed either. And when I was in my late teens and early 20s, I had a bad habit of just doing things backwards. My vice was always girls and wanting more of them, and that's where my focus went instead of money. However, if I could do it over again, I wouldn't completely abandon time with women because developing those social skills are important, but I would spend way more time trying to improve my skills to make more money. And I'd definitely make it even more of a priority in modern day where there's so many opportunities to make money online and through things like content creation or e-commerce. If you're able to watch this video right now, then you have the means to make money from the device you're using, and it can be done in a variety of ways. So if finances are lacking for you right now, you have to really decide to lock in and start to patch up that hole in your game because everything else relies on it. It's hard to improve your appearance if you can't afford anything. It's hard to feel confident in yourself as a man if you can't support yourself. It's hard to feel confident as a man if your car barely runs. And it's hard to feel confident with a woman if you're sweating bullets the whole time about spending money on a couple of drinks. The empowerment that comes along with having money in your pocket cannot be understated. And there aren't a lot of ways to boost your confidence quickly, but earning more money is absolutely one of them, and people around you feel it. You simply carry yourself differently when you're broke versus when you have money in the bank and you aren't burdened with stress about debt or relying on friends or family to support you. You have to think about it. You have YouTube, Google, and a billion online resources to help you learn anything you want to do. So it's up to you to lock in and focus to hone those skills to actually start getting somewhere and improving your income. And in the meantime, get a second job if you have to, or start a freelance gig if you have some valuable skills already. And you probably do have valuable skills already, you just aren't aware of how valuable they actually are. There's tons of people that are dumber than you that are making more money than you are just because they plugged away at monetizing certain skills that other people overlook as being useless or not good enough. And when I say lock in, I really mean lock in like your life depends on it. Leave your phone in another room, stop scrolling through dumb videos on TikTok, go to bed earlier and wake up earlier, and commit to setting strict time periods dedicated to deep work to level up your money-making skills. Don't be like the average person that complains about money problems and then goes back to scrolling Instagram when they could be building a side hustle or a business to actually alleviate the problem. Think about what you really want to become and simply start taking the steps to get there. It'll take time to build something meaningful, but it'll also happen faster than you think if you're consistent with focusing on the work every day and committing to the process no matter how you feel. And your confidence and happiness levels will rise drastically as a byproduct. Number 3, become a master of social skills. Now, I don't care if you're an introvert or if you don't like talking to people, because pretty much everything in life comes back to social skills. Making sales or getting a better job comes back to how well you communicate and persuade people. Getting more women and maintaining attraction with women comes back to how well you understand human psychology and how to be emotionally engaging. Making more friends or creating content online comes down to how well you can relate to people and present yourself. And unless you live in a cave and want to be isolated for the rest of your life, which sounds like hell, you will be around humans and you will benefit from focusing on leveling up your social skills like any other type of skill you'd want to learn. So start viewing your social skills like you would the gym and building up your physique. Create a routine or a program for yourself and stick to it. Watch and study other people who are good socially to understand what makes them charismatic or good with speaking. Just like you'd push yourself in the gym to do another set or lift heavier weights, challenge yourself to do things that make you nervous socially. Embrace the chance of failing in order to forge yourself into something better. Make small talk wherever you go to get familiar with speaking up more and more, because that is the core problem for a lot of guys that identify as introverts. They simply don't speak up. And challenge yourself to go deeper with conversation with the people that you end up having longer engagements with. Learn to be genuinely interested in what other people have to say and learning about who they are. Become fascinated with learning the game of communication and becoming better than all these people that simply don't care about rotting their brain behind a screen every day and becoming more socially awkward as each day passes by in isolation. Get yourself to a point where you can walk in any room and feel comfortable talking to any type of person. Set up your phone and record yourself talking to see how you look and sound when you speak, and take notes of what could be better and improve on those aspects. One of the best things about working on your social skills is that there are almost unlimited opportunities to work on them. Anytime you leave the house, you are presented with chances to sharpen those skills. So start viewing yourself as a video game character that is earning experience and stats every time you go out and talk to others. You want to become your own scientist to where you aren't overly concerned with embarrassing yourself or failing in any situation, and you're more so interested in testing different strategies and approaches to see what works best for you. So you want to go out, conduct the tests, gather data from what worked and what didn't. Don't take any of it personally, and refine your approach based on your results. Continuously forge yourself into the man that other people are too lazy and afraid to become. Because every day we become more and more distant from each other as a society due to the internet and technology. So mastering social skills becomes more and more valuable all the time. The people that are good socially are going to become more and more powerful as time goes on. And the confidence and happiness that comes along with being able to handle any situation you're put into, or being able to talk to women or earn more money if you need to, can't be emphasized enough. A lot of guys out there would alleviate a lot of their depression and stagnation they feel if they relentlessly focused on these three aspects in this video for the next year. And I'm not saying that every single person's unhappiness would be cured by doing these things, because we're all in different situations with different problems in our lives. But many guys would get themselves out of the hole they're in if they really committed to these things like their life depended on it and fought tooth and nail to become better in these areas. Become dangerous, become financially sufficient, and become a social guy that has the ability to get what he wants when he wants. And you will discover things about yourself and your capabilities that you had no idea were even possible. Now, before you go, check the links in the description to see some of the things I have to offer, and make sure you watch this video next. And I will see you in the next one.